Throughout history, humans have gone to war. Cities burned. Borders changed. Families turned against one another. And in the worst conflicts, people who once lived side by side, who shared meals, worked together, and called each other friends, suddenly became enemies. We often blame these wars on politics, religion, ideology. But what if those are not the only reasons? What if the roots of conflict are far older and far deeper? Deep in the forests of Uganda, scientists have discovered something unsettling. The largest known group of wild chimpanzees on Earth has split into two sides. And for the last 8 years, they have been fighting a war of their own. These were not strangers. They hunted together. They groomed each other. Some had known each other their entire lives. Some even held hands. Now, they are trying to kill each other. The Ngogo chimpanzees live in Kibale National Park, Uganda. For more than 30 years, scientists have watched them. Unlike most chimpanzee groups, this one was enormous. At its peak, it contained more than 200 chimpanzees, including around 40 adult males. That made it the largest chimpanzee community ever recorded. And somehow, it worked. The chimpanzees split into smaller social circles. Researchers called them the Western and Central sides. But these were not separate groups. They still shared the same forest, the same food, the same territory. They groomed one another. They traveled together. They even had children together. These were not strangers. They were family, friends, allies. Then, in June 2015, something happened that the researchers had never seen before. Members of the western side approached the central side near the middle of their territory. Normally, the two groups would scream, chase, and then make peace. That is what chimpanzees do. But this time, the western chimpanzees ran away, and the central chimpanzees chased them. After that encounter, the two sides avoided each other for 6 weeks. 6 weeks may not sound long, but for chimpanzees that once lived side by side every day, it was shocking. Why did it happen? Scientists still do not know for certain, but they found 3 clues. The first clue came in 2014. That year, 6 important chimpanzees died. 5 adult males and 1 female. Some may have died from disease. Others simply vanished. But among them were chimpanzees that connected the western and central sides. When they disappeared, the social bonds between the two groups began to weaken. The second clue came in 2015. The alpha male changed. In chimpanzee society, the alpha is more than just the strongest male. He holds the group together. When power changes hands, old friendships can collapse. New rivalries can appear. Then came the third blow. In 2017, a respiratory epidemic swept through the forest. 25 chimpanzees died. Among them were some of the last chimpanzees still trusted by both sides. One by one, the bridges between the groups disappeared. By 2018, the split was complete. The forest that once belonged to one community was now divided. The western chimpanzees controlled one side, the central chimpanzees controlled the other. What was once the center of their shared home became a border. The two groups no longer groomed each other. They no longer traveled together. They no longer had children together. The chimpanzees who had once been lifelong companions now treated each other like strangers. Then the patrols began. Chimpanzees do not go to war the way humans do. They do not build weapons. They do not plan battles. But they do patrol. Groups of males move silently through the forest, single file, barely making a sound, listening, watching. If they find another chimpanzee alone, they attack. At Ngogo, the smaller western group began crossing into the territory of the larger central group. Scientists expected the bigger group to win, but that is not what happened. The western chimpanzees were fewer in number, but they were more united. They stayed close. They trusted one another. And in war, that mattered more than size. Since 2018, researchers have recorded at least 24 killings, 7 about males, 17 infants. The real number may be even higher. Some of the victims were chimpanzees the attackers had once groomed, chimpanzees they had hunted beside, chimpanzees they had known for years. These were chimps that once held hands. Now, they were killing each other. The attacks followed a pattern. The western males would patrol into enemy territory. If they found the chimpanzee isolated or outnumbered, they would surround it, then bite, hit, and keep attacking until it stopped moving. At first, the victims were adult males. Then, beginning in 2021, the violence spread to infants. Why would chimpanzees do something like this? They have no politics, no religion, no borders drawn on maps. So why did they suddenly divide into two sides? Scientists think the answer may be surprisingly simple. Chimpanzees are extremely social. Their world is built from relationships, who they trust, who they groom, who they stand beside. When those relationships began to break, so did the group. The strange part is that the chimpanzees did not hate strangers. They turned against chimpanzees they already knew. The moment the group split, old friends became outsiders. And perhaps that is the most unsettling part of all. Humans often explain war through politics, religion, or ideology. But chimpanzees have none of those things. And yet, they still divided. They still chose sides. They still went to war. The scientists behind this study believe the Ngogo chimpanzees may reveal something uncomfortable about ourselves. Perhaps conflict does not always begin with big ideas. Perhaps it begins with something smaller, a few broken relationships, a change in leadership, a period of fear, and the slow disappearance of the people who once held a community together. The Ngogo chimpanzees remind us that peace is fragile, not because enemies appear from nowhere, but because friends can slowly become strangers. Deep in the forests of Uganda, a war is still unfolding. Two groups of chimpanzees still patrol the same forest, still defend the same borders, still remember a world where they were once one family. And perhaps, if we want to understand how wars begin, we should first look at how friendships end.